Hi guys, welcome to my channel. Welcome back if you've been here before. My name is Autumn and I talk about Japan, traveling. I do travel vlogs. I live in Japan. I'm a part of the JET program, and today we're doing something a tad bit different. I'm not traveling anymore. I am good until at least like March. Like, your girl has done it. I have been to 23 prefectures in the last 8 months and I need a break, but I'm doing a video basically on how you can travel while on the JET program. This also applies to other programs that are in Japan, especially like if you already live here and you're working. This can apply to you too, but I'm specifically speaking to people who want to join the JET program and that want to travel a lot and see Japan kind of like I am. There are 9 tips on how you can travel Japan while on the JET program, and let's go ahead and get into them, okay? Okay, so the very first tip is going to be obviously using your NINQ, using your PTO, your time off. That is the best possible thing to do. Of course you have like holidays and stuff, but using your NINQ for days that you don't have holidays is really good. So that's tip number 1. The next tip is obviously using holidays. So last year in 2022 there were about 5 or 6 public holidays like that fell on weekdays, which is perfect. Like, they were Fridays or Mondays. So that's good because obviously you're already not going to be at school, so you don't have to take the PTO off and you can just go travel wherever you need. You have an extended weekend. That's a really good idea for people who want to travel but then also don't want to take days off using NINQ. I know that Japan has this stigma about using your time off. Use your time off. You are not Japanese. You are whatever country you are from. You are not Japanese. Use your time off. Like, use your time off. My third tip is to use your weekends. I feel like weekend trips could be preserved for smaller trips. Like, for instance, a few months ago I went to Yamagata, which is north of Fukushima. It's about a 2-hour drive. I think it's about a 2.5-hour train or bus ride. So I could have done that in a weekend, or I did actually do it in a weekend. I just took a few days and traveled and explored Yamagata, and I didn't have to take any time off or didn't have any public holidays to do that with. So I highly suggest that you use your space, your time. If you work in a facility that maybe doesn't give a whole lot of time off, or you don't have as much PTO, I really think that using your weekends is top tier. That's a really good thing to do. And that leads me into my 4th tip, which is traveling close by first. I feel like depending on where you are, there's a ton in the region, there's a ton in the area that is really good to see, but people are so focused on seeing the top 3, top 5 places that they don't realize what's in their backyard. So for instance, in Fukushima, there's Fukushima City, there's Iwaki, there's Aizu. There's tons of places that I can see within the prefecture that I live in. And this goes more to say for like people who are in Tokyo or people who are in Hiroshima. It's easier to see the things that are close by. So I highly recommend you do that. As far as traveling and seeing the world around you while on the JET program. Another way that I can travel pretty easily in Japan is I A, save my money, and B, I brought a lot of money. So there is no recommended amount to bring when you come to the JET program. However, I made sure to bring about 4,000 US dollars with me so that I had like money to do things. And so because I was able to bring that money whenever we would get paid, I have that stacked on top of it. So travel can be expensive, but bringing and saving and strategically saving your money so that you can go to these super extraordinary places is probably one of the main reasons why I do travel a lot, because I do use my money wisely. The next tip for how I can travel Japan and see all these places is I do a strategy called batch travel. And basically what that means is I will take a section of Japan and I will, like a ping pong, and I will basically treat it like a game, and I will just ding, 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 ding to hit all the places that I want to see. Because I don't have a ton of days to do things, you usually have, like, let's say I have a week. In that week, I will spend my time evenly between the different places that I want to see. That way, I'm not spending the entire week in Kyoto, or I'm not spending the entire week in Shimane. I'm seeing multiple places. They're all in the same region, which is good because that means it is easy to get to them. Like, for example, getting from Kyoto to Osaka is a 45-minute train ride. Yes, I'm doing that. Getting from Saitama to Gunma is just a Shinkansen. Like, I'm going to ping everything at once. So I highly recommend, if you're on the JET program and you don't have a whole lot of time, I would batch travel. Batch travel your way through a lot of places, and that's what I do. Another tip for traveling and how I can travel to places is using domestic airlines. I didn't believe in this because I was very nervous at first about it, because it just didn't seem very cut and dry, but taking an airline in Japan is so cut and dry. I highly recommend you just use like Japan Airlines or ANA. I don't recommend you use Expedia. I know it may be in our comfort zone to use third-party websites like Expedia or Kayak or whatever. Surprisingly enough, using domestic airlines to go places within Japan is so easy. So that is what I do to travel all over this country. I just hop on a plane and I'll be out. The next tip for how I can travel Japan while on the JET program is transportation. Be flexible with your transportation. And these two tips kind of go together with that. So like using the night bus. I was not a believer. I was not a believer of the night bus. When I saw Jakob's video about taking the night bus, I was like, oh God, that sounds so uncomfortable to be on a bus for X amount of hours. It is probably the single most convenient thing on this planet. I love the Shinkansen, I do, but it's expensive. Baby girl is like 2-3 man for depending on where you're going. Driving a car is nice, but there's toll roads, and toll roads can get expensive. And then you've got regular local trains, which obviously it'll take you 6 days just to get to where you gotta go if you take a local train. So I feel like the next best thing is buses. It's really convenient. It's super easy. I will link down below the website that I use for buses. But yeah, taking a bus is perfect. It's so easy. I was able to get around some places just by using the bus. If you saw my Okinawa vlog, we actually used the night bus to get to Tokyo before we flew out to Okinawa. And then that leads me into my final tip, which is using a car. So I love my car and I love having a car. I think it is so convenient, but I use my car to basically go all over the place. Anywhere that I can get to that isn't more than a 5-hour drive, I will use my car. I highly recommend that if you are on the JET program and you're not in a major city and you're allowed to by your contracting organization and your board of education, I would get a car. It is convenient, it is practical, it's like my baby is the best thing that's ever happened to me. So that is the last reason, or the last way that I can travel all across Japan, because sometimes I just hop in a car. And with that being said, that is it for this video. If you want to know more information about driving in Japan, I do actually have a video for that. So I'm gonna link it here. I'm gonna play it next, and I really recommend you guys to watch that one next. All right, see you. So I had to turn off the aircon for y'all. It is cold. My hands are freezing. Like, what? But These curls is popping. Yes. Okay, curly baby is back.